Rapid prototyping, multiplexing, embryonic electronics, easy PCR, brain-computer interfaces, augmented reality, video tracking, hacking, transdisciplinarity, biometric input, DNA sequencing, Anthropocene. These are the words that I have been advised to cut off from my presentation because I might lose you with technicalities, so I just wanted to mention them at the very beginning and put them aside. I founded Modulab, which is an open lab for art, design, and technology, together with my partner, Paul Popescu. And the words I shouldn't have mentioned before are often heard in our working space, which is populated by a very diverse and eclectic crowd of people who meet there in order to play together, share information and experience, collaborate on different projects, or just have fun. Most of them are designers, artists, architects, engineers, programmers, creative coders, specialists in applied neurosciences, medicine, and philosophy. Most of the devices that we play with in our lab are very easy, both from a financial point of view, but also very easy to learn and play with. And most of the software that we use is open source, so you don't have to be a pro in order to develop a project with them. You can simply copy lines of coding from limitless resources on the internet and get help from online communities. We founded the lab in 2007 when everybody was crazy about the new iPhone. Radio had revolutionized the music industry by letting the fans choose the price for their tunes, but still it was those times when my mom still didn't have a Facebook account. In that period, some friends of mine told me about Paul, whom I didn't know, and the fact that he had just developed a worldwide innovation which consisted in an extremely cool volatile medium display. You can imagine I was pretty impressed. By that time, I was working and writing as a journalist about art, new media, and technology. And I was talking with a lot of people, but also with marketing representatives about the new technologies and trends. And it was then that I first realized that the more popular and sophisticated technology became, the less people were interested in opening the black box, in knowing and changing the way they work, and especially make their own stuff. So not exactly as opposed to, but rather complementary to this consumerist approach on technology, Modulab explores it not only for its functional practicality, but rather as a versatile expression medium and a powerful symbolic and metaphoric vector. Most of our work consists in creating interactive installations that create a unique magic experience to the viewer, whose dialogue and complex interaction with our work is also generating its meaning. And because most of our projects and research highly depends on open culture and online information and basically efforts of other people, we felt the need to share our knowledge, our space, our tools, our experience with other artists and designers who wanted to integrate these practices within their own projects. So we started organizing workshops in which we help them get familiar not only with new devices and new programming languages, especially created for research and creative applications, but also get them acquainted to using power tools and hands-on work. But I think the most important thing in our lab is that everybody has the chance to work in very mixed teams, so that you don't have to learn how to program on Arduino right away or learn how to use processing. You just have to identify the perfect person to collaborate with in order to develop your creative idea. Most of our work, especially our artistic projects and installation, explores the nature of technology in itself, but also our relationship with it. So during a workshop we had last year with an eclectic team made of designers, artists, architects, and so on, we have invited the participants to imagine that technology is a more or less alien species that appeared on Earth as a direct consequence of human action and that relies on human action in order to evolve and expand. Humans, on the other hand, are using technology in order to evolve as a species, becoming more and more dependent on it. The result of this experiment was an interactive installation exhibition that functioned in symbiosis with its audience, whose movements and visual characteristics, sounds, colors, behavior, were processed and integrated in real time in the behavior of the installations. The thing is that in this case, the artwork doesn't reside in the technological artifacts in themselves or the programming or the innovative solutions behind them, but rather in this dialogue and complex interaction between audiences, curator, artists, and objects in display. So from my point of view, the installations become art only in the moment somebody enters the exhibition space and get them started. It makes them move, behave, interact, and so on. After we finished this project, many of the participants told us that the symbiosis didn't take place only between them and technology, but also between the participants, because they had very complementary skills to one another. The exhibition was on display at the National Museum of Contemporary Art last year, and this year we have just finished a similar workshop developed on the same structure, only this time the theme is technopoesis, because we want to explore technology from a poetic point of view, focused on the experience in itself and the aesthetic, self-reflective approach on it. Another installation that we have very recently exhibited in the museum is called Butterfly Effect, and it was developed for an exhibition produced by our friends from Zeppelin Association called Connected, about cities, future, and people. And the exhibition is part of a wider, more complex, long-term project that explores this paradigm of technology-augmented and smart cities. Maybe this video will work, but if not, I will explain. The exhibition had a simultaneous opening in 4 different cities: Bucharest, Bergen, Stockholm, and Amsterdam. And we created a digital interface that enabled the audience from each of the city to interact in real time by touching this elastic haptic interface. We have created a very simple language for them to communicate, which is based on color. And what you see on the screen with green, for example, is the activity of people in Bergen. Blue is for Amsterdam, yellow is for Stockholm, and white for Bucharest. Technically, in each exhibition from each city, there was the same screen. Everybody saw the same colors on their screen, and they form a local network as if they were very close to one another even if thousands of kilometers separate them. This is an interactive aquarium, and the visuals that you see on the screen are generated in real time by the natural movements of the fish. Even if you see it on display here at the Art Museum in Arad, it was produced for Bucharest Design this week. And within the frame of the same event, we also launched the educational platform of Modulab, Future Garden. It's called Future Garden, firstly because it's located on Future Street in Bucharest, and secondly because it used to be Paul's grandpa's vegetable garden. And this platform is not only open to professionals from creative industry, but to everybody who is curious to explore technology as a hobby, who wants to spend a weekend doing something with their hands, or, I don't know, tuning their bicycles. We also organize workshops, events, parties, closed group conversations, in which we're trying to explore the role of technology in the development of our culture, society, and ultimately us as a species. I really enjoyed Florin's presentation earlier, especially this idea that we are not the highest point in human evolution, as each generation is tempted to consider itself, but rather a part of a large-scale process. But I think that starting with our generation, technology is going to have a more and more important role in the development of our species. And it's very important for us to really assimilate it and integrate it responsibly, to discuss about ethical issues connected to our interaction with technologies, or, I don't know, understand its darker side. Now, some of you may be wondering, where did we get the money to fund this project? Actually, we were very lucky to have this rather big yard with no building on it, and even if we had no previous knowledge on architecture or construction, we just started to work it with our own hands. We managed to get a credit and also put our economies in it, and my colleagues, Paul and Matei, did all the research and transformed the place. They even casted the tiles from the pave, as you can see in this image, because they glow in the dark, and they wanted special triangle-shaped ones. This is the next stage. This is a picture that was taken 2 years ago, and this is how it looked in May when we opened the place. As time went by, we started being contacted by different companies who needed interactive, custom solutions for their special projects. I also started to respond to public open calls for cultural projects funding, and step by step, we have managed to transform our toy project into a versatile enterprise that organically grew with each cultural or commercial project, with each visitor in our space, and especially with each new member of our team. So if I had to sum up my speech in 3 main ideas, I would say that technology is an extremely generous, interesting, full of surprising territory worth exploring for its own sake. Secondly, I think we have to change our relationship with technology. I think we have to step from this passive consumer position to an active role playing in the development of it. We are all to become prosumers. And last but not least, if you believe in an idea, just do it yourself. Bet your own resources on it. Let it grow organically, nourish it, share it with other people, and you will be surprised by the outcome. And if you're ever curious about the concepts I have mentioned before, or other project that we're working on, you are always welcome at Modulab. Thank you.